who didn't realize that they were preparing for like a mega earthquake drill in St. Louis right now? Watch this.
I-64 behind us, you can see some military vehicles and military members starting to arrive and get ready to go for this exercise. The drills start today. Really, this is more of a prep day, and then they run through Wednesday. The downtown area will be even busier than usual with this large-scale training taking place.
So recently, while talking to one of my subscribers in person, who's also an author, so he's a very well-versed dude, we were discussing the alien invasion hoax. How for our entire lifetimes the government was like, UFOs, that's just stupid. Only stupid people talk about that because they're stupid, because they're just so darn stupid. That's why they're stupid, and that's why they talk about UFOs, because UFOs are stupid. Well, all that completely changed, and the government is now being harassed by UFOs. We have motherships hovering in our atmosphere. We have drones of otherworldly technology that are literally just invading our airspace for weeks at a time. We have military, Pentagon, battleship commanders, Air Force captains. Everybody's now seeing UFOs. They're absolutely everywhere. It's no big deal. We told you there were UFOs. What are you guys, stupid? We told you there were UFOs. Don't be so stupid. They even went around and handed out UFO handbooks to all law enforcement in the United States, because UFOs are conspiracy theories, just like everything else. Just complete and utter lies based on nothing at all. So while talking to him about that, inadvertently, there was a UFO incident going on right over the area that we were in.
So as of right now, we are getting strange reports coming out of Washington, D.C. and Raleigh, North Carolina, and I do believe Indiana as well, where people are reporting some kind of massive airship had crash landed. Now, credit where credit's due, a person who has subscribed to this channel had alerted me of this current event or events, and I have to say it's rather bizarre because two separate people in two separate states are talking about this bizarre crash landing. And matter of fact, one of the individuals, which I'm going to go ahead and show video footage of, actually shows the smoke trail. And the smoke...
Yo, am I tripping right? Okay, so I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. Please tell me if anybody saw this. But I was coming back from the gym off of this back road outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, and we're like, the road and the trees and the sky opens up. What the I swear I saw giant sparks, like a plane, like maybe on fire, or like, I don't know, but it was like there was sparks across the sky, and it left like a huge, like, illuminated smoke trail.
What the fuck is that? That's not a plane? It's a giant airplane. It's just circling around. And then it's disappearing. All the lights are turning off. It's done.
What is also rather interesting, around the same time that these reports are coming out that something crashed in Washington, D.C., there was a Metropolitan Police copter that was tracking something in Washington, D.C., and it was flying back and forth. You can see it circling around. So what exactly is going on here?
And we had heard strange sounds. It sounded like somebody was carpet bombing the area, even though the date, the day, the time of year really wasn't conducive to people firing off fireworks, but that's what we played it off as, because what else could it be? And then about an hour later that night, in the opposite direction, the sky kept lighting up over and over and over and over and over again, like there was a severe lightning storm, except there was no thunder and there wasn't a cloud in the sky. The next day we find out there's some sort of a UFO crash conspiracy thing going on in DC, in North Carolina, and apparently Indiana, where I was located. Cool. So we're talking about this topic of aliens, not even knowing that this is what's going on right above us, and we drew the conclusion that if they're going to try something like that, Halloween, All Hallows Eve, it's the perfect time of the year to do that, because the veil between spiritual is the thinnest on the 31st of October on our calendar. And that's why they push it so much. And I gotta say, it's astonishing to me how many people that are quote-unquote Christians completely embrace Halloween. Halloween doesn't hide what it is. Halloween is obvious what it is. Dress up as a demon, dress up as a witch. You know what I mean? It doesn't hide what it is. And Christians just somehow turn the page. So at any rate, I kept saying that we were talking about the movie Leave the World Behind. And as a matter of fact, I had just watched it with them because I watched it all over again because they had never seen it. And the compound that they had didn't have a television. Fortunately, I had Leave the World Behind on an SD card and we watched it. Now, one of the things that I pointed out that I couldn't quite figure out was in Leave the World Behind, when they show the National Emergency Network come up and it shows America is under attack by unknown forces, hackers, etc. In the most obscure place, there's a small barcode. And if you click on that with your phone, your barcode reader, it shows up as a amusement park in West Virginia. And I couldn't quite figure this out, so I started researching an amusement park. Turns out it was built on an Indian burial ground. It turns out a lot of people have died there at the amusement park after it was an amusement park. Very strange circumstances, and that the place was haunted. Okay, cool. That's crazy, but why is it in the movie Leave the World Behind? So no pun intended, but I started doing what I do, and I dug a little deeper and discovered that it sits directly on the New Madrid fault line. And then, strangely enough, there have been 6 separate drills and simulations in Missouri, in West Virginia, in Missouri, on the New Madrid fault line involving the Kentucky National Guard, the Missouri National Guard, and the Michigan National Guard.
Live right now. Again, we're in this parking lot just south of Busch Stadium. Vehicles just starting to arrive as things start to amp up here for this training. We can also show you some video that we captured a little earlier as military vehicles started making their way through downtown St. Louis. The exercises here are being facilitated by the Michigan National Guard working in conjunction with the Missouri National Guard. The drill scenario here involves an 8.4 magnitude earthquake from the New Madrid seismic fault hitting the St. Louis area. The training is going to focus on a simulated response to structural damage, civilian casualties, and chemical contamination in the vicinity of Busch Stadium during a baseball game. Organizers tell us some 500 people are taking part in this drill. It also involves river crossings along the Mississippi between St. Charles and Grafton in the event that bridges could be damaged by a major disaster like an earthquake. These exercises are not open to the public. Authorities say drivers along 40 or 64 near Busch could see this equipment and exercises taking place. I-55 drivers might also see some military traffic this morning. These exercises are going to use a lot of material, including helicopters and vehicles, damaged vehicles and debris, and there will be multiple staging areas near Busch Stadium. One note for drivers, 8th and Clark right by Busch will be closed during the day as these exercises unfold. This is the first time that St. Louis is hosting these exercises. Last year, similar exercises took place in Nashville. We have more vehicles trying to kind of pull in here as this starts to get going. More military vehicles, some St. Louis police vehicles just around the area here, all taking part in this exercise.
But ever since the April 8th solar eclipse, everything that we have seen taking place, the 2 solar eclipses crossing paths over the New Madrid fault line, the emergence of 2 different broods of cicadas, the very rare comet that was seen around the same time as the solar eclipse, these were all recorded to have been seen in the 1800s, and then sometime after, only months after, the New Madrid fault line would receive a series of earthquakes so massive, they are still within the top 3 worst earthquakes of all time when we're talking about North America. And I have not even gotten into yet the very bizarre weather that has been following the same path of totality, like Hurricane Beryl, and I do believe another hurricane that followed the same path of totality. And there has also been some very strange lightning storms that has been stretching for miles but again, directly over the New Madrid fault line. There has also been a massive increase of activity in this area as well. Just in the beginning of 2024, from January to March, there were reported 63 earthquakes. But ever since March, there has been a sharp uptick of mini earthquakes. Now, some may say that's good because all these mini earthquakes may mean that this area is releasing gas, which may delay the big one. But the opposite is also true, that if you have this many cluster of earthquakes happening at one time, the big one may be coming very soon. And if you're not convinced, we also have Hollywood making movies about a massive earthquake striking the New Madrid fault line. And we all know that Hollywood likes to give us the truth in plain sight. They like to give us those very strange, ritualistic, subliminal messages. But in 2024, we also have to ask, why are there so many drills? Why are there so many simulations being ran on the New Madrid fault line? Now look, I do completely understand that areas, especially areas that are prone to earthquakes, do have drills. They have what's known as Earthquake Preparedness Month. Because I always get those comments when I make a video on the New Madrid fault line drills, people say that it's completely normal. Then a month before that, there was this very odd video that came out from this certain group that had shown this new map of America where they showed these disaster zones, and one of the disaster zones was the New Madrid fault line, and they were telling people they had to get out. Then they had drills and simulations going on back in April during Earthquake Preparedness Month, and then they had drills again back in February. Well, it happened again this month in October. They were running more drills and simulations. So you have to ask yourself, why are there so many drills and simulations being ran on the New Madrid fault line in 2024 when there has been such an increase in activity? Let's go ahead and take a look at this article by KFVS12, which was published on October 16th. This article is titled, Missouri Prepares for a Possibility of Catastrophic Earthquake with Thursday Drill.
Now, doing a drill for safety, you know, something's going to happen someday, that's good. But they do drills all the time. And nothing ever happens that's ever prevented by these drills. Quite the contrary. Many times these drills seem to turn into actual events, and they're no longer drills. What does that even mean? Well, that's when things like crisis actors are interjected into the mix. I myself have been called a crisis actor many times because people of very, very low IQ and zero discernment have seen me on national television. I've been on TV a bunch of times. You know why? Look what I'm doing right now. I'm on the road. I'm out there. I see a lot of people. I'm involved in a lot of events because if I see something, I take action. I don't call 911. If I see somebody stranded in the middle of a hurricane, I pull in there and pull them out. That's been on video. If somebody's trying to carjack my neighbor right in front of my house, I stop it and I end up on the news. You see what I'm saying? I've traveled the trails, off-road trails in the United States so frequently that when somebody goes over and dies, the mainstream calls me for my opinion on it. It happens. But people somehow equating that into, he's a crisis actor. Well, you're just imbeciles. Absolute, utter imbeciles. Because in every one of these crisis actor activities, I'm using my complete 100% birth name. Because I've never hidden who I was for 15 years, day one. At any rate, I believe Leave the World Behind putting that barcode into this movie that is showing nothing but how they would use technology to bring down the United States. That's all that movie shows. No one ever actually sees boots on the ground. It's an unseen force, technology, that somehow takes out the entire country and causes us to fight each other, creating a civil war, the coup d'etat, as they said. So, I firmly believe that with Leave the World Behind, the numerous maps that the United States Navy has put out showing the entire Missouri, West Virginia, Kentucky area washed off of the map, as well as California, I believe they're prepping for that right now. We have so many irons in the fire. You gotta remember back in the old days, back in 2020, I told you, when they finally go for this, they're gonna throw everything at us at one time. Because taking over the world under a one world religion, a one world government, etc., is hard enough. But turning the United States on itself so we actually do their dirty work, we destroy ourselves, that takes a little bit of doing. And every single day, something new unravels that is a move. If I was on their side of the board trying to make this happen, is what I would do. And coincidentally, it is what they're doing. You see what I'm saying? At any rate, like, share, subscribe. For another week or so, I believe, new hats, hoodies, t-shirts, coffee cups. You asked for them, I made them. You don't want them, don't buy them.